for Toby and Coach. Dutcher just said the key to the game was rebounding. Really seemed to turn it on in the second half. What do you think kind of got it going on the glass and all that?
Well, I think we just kind of had to find our rhythm and our flow a little bit. I mean, give San Diego State a lot of credit. They came out, with a game plan where they were really, forcing us to play outside in. They were really heavy in that first gap. They were going under a lot of our ball screens. So, we really haven't faced that much conviction with that defense. So, I think it just took a while for our guys to kind of get comfortable in the game. So, so sometimes you got to make a decision. Maybe today's not the day we shoot it, as good as we'd hope. So there's lots of ways to win, and if you can win in the effort areas, which we did today, that'll go a long way to helping it. And obviously, these three guys up here played tremendously hard. I mean, obviously, I don't even need to say anything about Tobe. And if people aren't paying attention, I don't know what to tell them. I mean, it was amazing what he did. Dwayne, played some of his most valuable minutes that he's played for us yet with his offensive rebounding. I mean, the diving, that play he dove on the floor in the second half was big time. And then, sticking that three. And then he also had a couple great drives to jump stops, to kickouts, against, some of their gap defense that, I think Delhi hit a couple threes on. And, in Koa, it's not easy to come back home and, he started off good, but then he had a couple fouls, and, I'm kind of managing the game, and I'm sure he wanted to go back in, and I just kind of decided not to those last, couple minutes because, I was hoping it was manageable, but we got down 7, and I was thinking about it, but then we made a quick 8-0 run to end the half. So, so just really proud of these guys and their effort and just their resiliency.
All the way in the back.
Heiko Eliov, goodbye, Sports 360 AZ. So Coach just mentioned it a little bit. Back in your old stomping grounds, I know you're a competitor, you're all about winning no matter where it's at, but what are the feelings of being back here, where you used to play all the time in this area?
No, I felt great, when they announced my name, starting lineup, got goosebumps with all the crowd, the cheering and all that, but, I mean, it's great to come back to Phoenix and come out victorious like that. And just to see the U of A fans in the stands like that, them cheering us on, getting us hype, it was really cool to see.
Front row here in the middle, Brian.
Dwayne, what were the sight lines like for the perimeter shooting? The teams combined for 6 of 39. And, I mean, did it feel like you had the right sight lines to be able to hit those perimeter shots?
What do you mean by sidelines?
I mean, did it look, was there like the background getting in the way or anything like that? Or, do you see any reason why the threes were not going down for either team?
No, I think we just had to, just stay confident and knock the shot down. I think, we're a good three-point shooting team. I don't think that's nothing to do with that. But, some days, we might not hit three-pointers. But, second half, we find our way, So, yeah.
And listen, to these guys' credit, I mean, it's tough. I mean, they're playing with the ball they've never played with before, and that can be difficult. You have a couple of days to prepare. It just has a different feel, and I mean, you're not making excuses because, I mean, I think both teams probably suffered from it, and I think they were 1 for 14 from 3, and their only one was a bank. And coming into the game, they were shooting 41% from 3 as a team. I mean, we definitely didn't. The plan wasn't to let San Diego State shoot open threes and they're going to miss in an NBA arena. It just happens sometimes, and I'm just proud of the way our guys hung with it, and because that can be a little bit frustrating when teams are heavy in the gaps and you're missing a few shots you want to make. But we hit the ones at the right time, and we're kind of able to get a knockout punch in that second half.
First right here in the second row.
Koa just mentioned it, but goosebumps kind of, being back here and playing in the Valley. And Tommy, you've talked about it before, wanting to play a game here every year. Can you just talk about the energy and the atmosphere a little bit? And does that make you want to play games here every year?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, the only thing I saw all night, when I looked up there and people were drinking beer out of their shoes, I'm like, wow, this just got real. UConn's $2 beer night has nothing on us. So, yeah, it's special when we come up here, and we want to keep building it. And I think obviously we really value our fans that come out and the support we get up here. I think there's a lot more potential. So, I think we got to kind of go back to the drawing board and figuring out how we can even make this a bigger and better event for University of Arizona, because it's special.
Tommy, you've had some pretty good players at Gonzaga, obviously. I've covered this team for a long time. I can't remember a guy like Tobe here. Just what he brings to the team, and in so many different ways, in so many different levels.
I mean, to be honest with you, the only guy I could compare him with this, how he impacts the game with effort and toughness is Domas Sabonis. I mean, you know what I mean? That guy's an NBA All-Star. I think, I know Tobe's put himself on people's radars, just the force he's playing with and how much better he's gotten. It's crazy impressive. And you know what? I'm going to give credit to Big Mo too. Big Mo, he was always kind of an offensive-minded player. And, we're trying to, we really, off-season project was kind of trying to rewire him. And he takes one shot today, because they were double teaming. He had a couple turnovers I'm sure he's not happy about. But he has, 13 rebounds, and he impacts the game defensively, and he draws 5 fouls. I mean, he's a really good player. So those two, the combination of those two, man, I'm telling you what, it's pretty powerful to have on your side.
And Tobe, if I could, you make rebounds almost your life work. What your philosophy on going after them, because you go after them like a beast?
Honestly, it's just whatever I can do to help the team win at the end of the day. If it's scoring 15. If it's getting 15 rebounds, so be it. 5 blocks, whatever. Today it just happened to be rebounds. Another day it might be blocks. Another day it might be points. So, any way I can affect the team to, help put us in the win category, I'm going to do it.
Coach, you ended the first half back here, 28-27. What did you tell your team in terms of like 3-point shooting, which improved in the second half, and physicality in the second half?
Well, I told them, this is how, I thought the game might go. And now we just, there's no reason to feel bad. We obviously didn't play our best in the first half, and you're up 1. So we made a nice little run there. And I just really challenged our guys, what happens if we come out and hit first? And, and it probably doesn't get enough attention, but, we're also a pretty good defensive team. And I thought our guys did a great job just, being sticky and having constant ball pressure on these guys and in the right spots in the gaps. I mean, you hold a team that good to 26% shooting. I mean, man, that's impressive. And then that really was the story of the game. I mean, everyone's going to make it about the 3-point shooting, but it was our man-to-man defense that was really the differentiator.
Tobe, just following up on Steve's question, are you number 1 in offensive and defensive rebounding percentage? Are you aware of that? Is that a goal you've had? And what's the difference between what you're doing now and even last year?
No, I didn't know that. Honestly, it's not really something I've been focused on too much. Honestly, going into a game, it might be the thing I'm thinking about least. I think the defensive game plan, is first and foremost. How I'm going to set screens to help, get our guards open, running the floor, And then at the end of the day, it's just, when the shot goes up, go chase the ball. I think that's the sort of the easiest thing on the court for me. So, the stats and stuff are cool. I know people are going to bring it up, but as long as we're winning, that's all that really matters.
Tommy mentioned the ball. How was it decided that this was going to be the ball? And how
usually when you're playing these events, there's a sponsor involved. And listen, the ball's probably fine. I mean, I'm not here to bash the ball. It's just if you haven't been using it, that's what I mean. Could you imagine baseball where they played with a different style of baseball? Like they don't do that. They have a standardized one, and we just don't have that in college basketball. And you're seeing a lot of Nike balls, a lot of Wilson balls. You just don't see many Spaldings. So the Spalding kind of throws our guys for a little bit of a curve. But it's I'm sure there's been other nights where we've shot at the ball well. Tonight just wasn't the night for either team, and maybe we'll chalk it up to good defense.
I just wondering about Addison getting a scholarship. Was that, and he's got some time left. Are you planning to have him for another couple of years? Or,
we haven't talked anything beyond this. I hope so. We love having Addison part of our program, and that, to be honest with you, that was the motivation speech at halftime. I told the guys, if we don't win this game, he's back off scholarship. So bring it home.
For any of the players, 10 turnovers in the first half, just 1 in the second. What was the message from Tommy kind of coming out of the locker room, and what were some of those adjustments that you guys made?
Just stay poised. You know, we know what kind of team they are in terms of, you know, their full court press, you know, what they do defensively. You know, they're very gappy. So, you know, I think it's just getting a feel for the game, seeing, you know, what the style is like, you know, how they're playing us. And then, you know, halftime we're going to make that adjustment. You know, we knew coming into the game that they were going to be aggressive. You know, they were going to play with a chip on their shoulder. And, you know, just after that first half, just needed to adjust and, you know, just play with more poise in the second. And we also started playing with swag.
Yeah.
Facts.
Tommy, along those lines, I think with about 17, 18 minutes left, you challenged the call, got the call back on the inbounds, I think it was. You went down the bench and you kind of rallied the troops. What did you say to them, one? And do you, in your mind, say, in time, it'll be in time that we'll...
Yeah, I mean, you're always, you know, we're always working to have a cumulative effect, you know, and hoping we can, you know, stack possession, stack effort, you know, possession by possession, individual effort by individual effort, and then usually, you know, you can, the dam breaks, so to speak. And I was just trying to keep our guys locked in on it. I felt like we had a run coming in at us, and we just needed to fight to get to it, and we did. We made a couple of shots and kind of broke the game open, and we were able to kind of ride it out from there.
Koa, you talked about playing at home. This is your first game coming back as a college player playing in the Valley. I saw one Keona jersey. 54. And Cassius was here. Was mom and dad here? Did you have to deal with family and friends kind of coordinating them for this game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my whole family came out and supported me like they always do. I mean, they're coming out in Tucson too and supported me down there too. But, you know, it's special to see them and see all my friends. And I was just out there for like 10 minutes just talking to them. It was special.
You had 5 players today in double digits, but my question is, Braden Burries, there was a stat for his first 5 games of his points per game and now his last 5 games. What have you seen in his improvement and in confidence with the ball?
Well, I mean, I think you just hit it on his head. He's improved through experience. You know, he's got a little experience, and Braden's a really smart guy, and he's a really good player. So I think, you know, just having that experience putting together has helped him out. And, you know, I think he was fine tonight. I'm sure he would have liked to shot the ball a little bit better from 3 or made another shot here and there. And then we ended up kind of making a big run with the group. So, you know, his minutes might not have been where they usually are, but, you know, because he wasn't involved in that group. But he's a really good player, and he's only going to get better over the course of the season.
Tommy, just wondering about how the schedule you have in with the game on Monday. How do you go about this with the late trip back tonight?
We're gonna get on the bus. We're gonna get back home. Gonna go to get a night's sleep. We'll all come meet in the afternoon. You know, go over Monday's game plan. You know, with kind of a light practice, and you know, we're gonna come out Monday and have the same effort and energy we've had in the other games this year. And we're coming, and it's obviously been a good start, but we want to keep pushing. I mean, we know this is a long season, and we also respect that no one knows how things look in a week or two. So you just got to keep going at it day by day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.